Hello and welcome to Lesson 2. In this lesson, we're going to be discussing the wonderful world of typography and how it's used in title sequences and all that kind of goodness. So let's begin. To get things started, let's discuss the origin story of typography. Printed letters, they came about over 500 years ago as Johannes Gutenberg pioneered the first printing press. This was a big deal for humanity. It began a new era in information exchange as the printed word began to assist in ideas, allowing them to spread about faster and further than ever before. The original printing press was designed to mimic the letter forms of handwritten calligraphy. Prior to the printing press, scribes were employed to manufacture and replicate books by hand. The introduction of the printing press allowed for a new form of literature mass production. Some of the most common typefaces used today are named by the printers who developed them back in the 1500s. The evolution of the printed typeface leads us to John Baskerville's typeface, Baskerville, which emerged in the 1750s. It was designed to refine the old style typefaces from that era. Baskerville increased the contrast between thick and thin strokes, making the serif sharper and shifting the axis of the rounded letters to a more vertical position. Overall, the characters became more regular and well-weighted. Although Baskerville was created in the 17th century, it is still commonly used today due to its well-balanced form and size. Dado soon emerged in the late 17th century. Dado was created in Paris, taking inspiration from Baskerville's experimentation with increased stroke and contrast. Dado is classified as a modern neoclassical and intertwined with the Age of Enlightenment. Bodoni followed shortly after with its beautiful serif typeface, also inspired by Baskerville's exploration with increased stroke contrast. Bodoni reflects the development of printing technologies by sharpening the vertical axis of the letter forms. Note the extreme contrast between thick and thin strokes, and an overall geometric construction that moves further away from the hand-drawn adaptations from the era of Gutenberg. Soon after, we have Futura, which is a beautiful serif font that's constructed around geometric objects such as the circle, square, and triangle. It contains a very clean, efficient, and modern aesthetic which is designed for a more contemporary audience. The next iconic serif font comes from the Swiss, Helvetica, which was developed under the influence of the famous typeface Accidens Grotesque. It is hailed as being the most popular typeface of the 20th century. The name Helvetica means Swiss in Latin. Some of the characteristics of Helvetica that make it stand out amongst other typefaces is its tall X height, the narrow T and F, the narrow 1, the number 1 has a bracketed top serif, the capital R has a rounded off square tail, and the 7 has a beautiful concave curved stem. Helvetica's ability to work functionally under different sizes and weight make it a robust solution for communication in the 20th century. At its core, typography is a system of symbols which allows the written word to communicate ideas in a clear manner. Now let's discuss a basic vocabulary we will need to get us confident with using typography.